like to start off saying that I love weird fanfiction. Nothing is better than going on Wattpad with a few friends, just searching a franchise's name, scrolling all the way down and randomly clicking a fanfic. It's a guilty pleasure of mine. I poured an embarrassing amount of time into reading fanfics made by people who can't even correctly write dialogue. So one day, I looked up Yokai Watch. Some were pretty normal, but talking about normal fanfics would make a really boring video. So I'm here to talk about the strange ones. And by strange, I do not mean cringe, even though they may qualify as that. Which, may I mention, please do not send hate to these people. It's generally just people having fun, and if you hate people having fun, you're miserable. And I hate you, personally. Anyway, I want to get along to the fanfic, so let's start this show. First fanfic, Total Drama Yokai Island. This is based off the show Total Drama Island, but with Yokai Watch characters. To my limited knowledge, Total Drama Island is an animated contest show. All I know of this show is from that one Roblox game. Free Schlep! The simple version of how this game works in the story is that people play challenges, and whoever wins gets immunity to
the voting,
which is where people vote out somebody and they get eliminated. Not sure if this is in the original show, but there's also idols scattered around the island that make you immune to
the voting.
So this story starts on the island with the host being Whisper. He welcomes us to the game and reveals the prize for winning it. $1 million. The contestants get introduced. Those contestants being Chibanyan, Komasan, Komajiro, Blazion, Hydebat, Ruffraff, Peckpocket, Rory, Robanyan, Wallkappa, Shogunyan, Zero, Quaken, Solteria, Sporink, Spalton, Cynic, Birdly, Future, Zackler, Emoji, B, Blizzaria, and Tomyan. Half these characters are important to the plot again, don't worry about memorizing them. So, Komasan, what would you do with the $1 million?
I'd like to get surgery for my mother has a severe illness.
That's great. What about you, Wallkappa? Drunken strippers! The contestants are split into two groups. Chibanya's group, Go-Getters, and Zero's group, Team Players. They're headed to the top of the mountain where their first challenge is. I'm gonna be real, I searched for like 30 minutes for a picture to use for this, and I couldn't find one, so you're just kind of deal with my drawing for now. The challenge is to jump in a circle and not get eaten by sharks. Long story short, Go-Getters lose, Bizarria freezes half her team, Cynic finds an idol, and oh yeah, Tomyan dies. He doesn't show up for the rest of the story. He got eaten by sharks. No, I'm kidding, sadly. But he did get eaten by sharks for a while. Then,
the voting
happens. Go down to the last two contestants, Tomyan, who got barfed up by a shark, and Bizarria, who froze half her team. Very tragically, my favorite lesbian gets catapulted off the island. The next day comes, and so does the next challenge. They all start hating on Bizarria, like, she's already gone, let her spirit rest. I say spirit, because there's no way in hell the catapult traveled far enough to make it to land. She would 100% drown in the middle of the ocean. The next challenge is to stay up late as possible. Go-Getters win. Cynic was supposed to get voted out because he was mean, but he got an idol, so he's safe. Hydebat gets catapulted and probably drowns in the ocean. Can't worry about the legality of all this, though. We gotta go to the next day. Dodgeball. It's kinda boring, sadly, except for the part where Blazion starts finally beating the shit out of Cynic. The Go-Getters win again, but before voting, Blazion smashes Cynic's idol thing, so he can get voted out. Quick question, why don't they just kill Cynic? So Cynic gets voted out, and then it ends. Yeah, I probably should have mentioned, most of these fanfics are multiple years old and unfinished. This one was from 2019, so there's little to no chance of it ever being finished. But if it does, I will update this video. This fanfic was peak. Rip Cynic, Blizzaria, and Hydebat. Next fanfic, Spanish como se enamora eterno. That's right, we're going to Spain. I can't actually speak Spanish, so I'm using a translator, so some details might be a bit muddied. But womp womp wah wah, I'm not learning another language. I am not that dedicated. Also, this fanfic has nothing to do with Chibanya's Komasan. Komasan appears as the final chapter as the final word. No joke. It is unfinished though. It was updated in July of 2024 after 4 years of not being updated. So maybe it is gonna be updated. This fanfic starts at 3:33 a.m. Shibanyan, being asleep, is woken up by the sound of knocking at his door and just assumes it's Amazon. The knocking continues, so Shibanyan checks his window and sees Nate and Whisper. They want to bet against Dark Cubie and they need a place to hide, so Chibanyan doesn't let them in, so they leave. Also, it starts raining for dramatic effect. Chibanyan wakes up the next day at 11 a.m., hears knocking from a stranger this time, so he answers it. And as soon as he answers it, he gets jumped on, and obviously he fights back. When he gets up, he realizes it was Wall Kappa, and he was trying to give him a hug. Fuck you, Shabanyan. Anyway, Wall Kappa informs Shabanyan that Nate and Whisper have drowned in a lake. Serves him right. Obviously sad and mourning, Shabanyan takes a walk where he runs into Cheesqueak, and the smell is so bad that Shabanyan runs home. Cheesqueak calls Shabanyan home and slides a note under Shabanyan's door about how Darkubi most likely murdered Nate and Whisper because a Whisper can float and wouldn't drown. Which, good point, I did not think about that before reading this. So Shabanyan swears vengeance upon Darkubi and falls asleep. 11:30 a.m. He wakes up again and gets another letter. It reads, "Dear Slim, I wrote you but you're still in college." Oh, no, wrong letter. It reads, "We inform you that you will receive Nathan's entire inheritance, which amounts to $200 million. And immediately, all the guilt and shame about what happens fades from his body, and he goes out to buy a yacht and throws a party on it. After the party, he goes out to the harbor and mourns again, like he wasn't throwing his ass in a circle 20 minutes ago. He falls into the sea where he nearly drowns, when he is saved, but not before being knocked unconscious. He wakes up again in some random ship, where he goes to the cockpit where he meets Komajiro, which he calls Goat before committing second-degree assault on him, and then commits false imprisonment by locking him into a locker. Shabanyan leaves him there for like 2 hours before opening it again to mock him, where he's promptly lunged at. Dude, Shabanyan in this fanfic, he's such an for no reason. What does he gain for doing any of this? Shabanyan beats Komajiro into submission again before the boat collides with the island because there was no one there to drive it. On the island, there was a house which had the phone. Shabanyan calls the police and had the audacity to say he was kidnapped by Komajiro. Are we for real, Shabanyan? Yes, police. Please help. Yeah, there's some maniac on the loose. Yeah, and I think he's trying to kill me. Yeah. Komajiro is awake again and tries locking this maniac Shabanyan into the house by nailing wood to the windows and doors. It doesn't work and he fucking beats Komajiro. Right before knocking him unconscious again, he reminds Shabanyan that he saved him from drowning and they immediately stop fighting. By the end of the fighting though, they realize they're lost and they know the way back. After panicking for half a page, they hear rustling in the distance. It's Koma-san, and that's how it ends. The worst fucking place to end it. Why? This fanfic was genuinely funny at times, not even in a bad way, but like 5 of the jokes made me genuinely laugh, which is actually pretty good for a short fanfic. Also, side note, please somebody make a Yahoo Watch comedy, murder, mystery, romance fanfic. I'm too lazy to do it myself. I saved the best one for last. The name of this fanfic is Whisper and Me, a love story. Wow, making fun of 2 romance fanfics. How interesting. Shut the f up, stupid dumb idiot loser. Yeah, you stupid dumb. Yeah, this sounded me spitting on you, loser fuck. There's no way I can intro this, so I'm just gonna read the description. Hey, happy few months away from the 6th anniversary of this absolute abomination I created when I was 9 years old. As of 4/20/21, I made some minor edits, including some new author's notes at the bottom of each chapter. Yep, this fanfic was made by a literal drooling 9-year-old child. And there's updates by an aged-up 16-year-old author, now 21 in 2026. Which honestly, sick as hell. I've always wanted to know what's going on in people's minds when they were making these. This fanfic starts with a person named Angel. Can you tell this was written by a 9-year-old yet? She runs into Manjima thinking it's a puppy, and gets scared and runs into a brick wall and dies. Can you tell this was written by a 9-year-old yet? She wakes up and she's a yokai, and now I'm no artist, but I think I did a pretty good job with the description given. She has the power to make people fall in love, except gay people, which I didn't need a yokai to fall in love with men. I'm already a master at that. Author's note. The author apologizes for the mild homophobia. They didn't mean it, because, again, 9 years old. Also apologizes for the capitalization of every single word, which is probably worse than mild homophobia. We go to Whisper's point of view, where Nate and Whisper are heading to the park for a meetup with Eddie to play soccer, but he finds them flirting with Katie. And if I ever read Katie saying Eddie Weddy again, I'm going to
swirls, 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 swirls.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to censor that. Switch back to Angel. She runs into Nate and Whisper, and they realize Angel is causing the problem. Nate tries to beat up Angel immediately. I don't know what's up with these fanfics that are immediately resorting to violence. Whisper stops him, and Angel and Whisper half flirt for the rest of the chapter. Author's notes. They said the flirting was really cringe, which, yeah, it's bad. Be happy that I skipped it. Whisper brings Angel home, which is a bit fast, don't you think? Take her out to dinner first, Whisper. Whisper pulls Nate aside and admits to having a crush on Angel, and Nate makes fun of him. Well, Nate, I do have to admit, I've developed a slight crush on Angel. I knew it. uh, aren't you like 5,000 years old? Angel is like 18 at most. That's a 4,982 year difference. That's Leonardo DiCaprio numbers, man. You can't do that. What the f,
Swir-
Whisper? I thought you were better than this. Well, technically, yokai don't have ages, so all I'm saying, Whisper. Author's note: the next part was taken out of this fanfic account of being omega bad, and also relying on a video that is now taken down. It's not relevant to the plot, though. Next day, they're walking down the street when they decide to summon Shibanya to teach Angel about yokai. I think? Shibanya's first words were calling Angel Whisper's girlfriend, and Angel immediately shuts that down and calls Whisper her friend. Ouch. Then, immediately, in her mind, she calls Whisper her crush. This is why romance books piss me off. Like, just kiss already. Holy hell, it's not that hard. Then they go home. Also, maybe how freaking absurd the Whisper X Angel thing is ran in general. A lot of it clearly stems from a lot of popular romance tropes, even reflected in the expressions I'd use, like made the room brighter a couple times. Ugh. Maybe straight people literature is why I'm /J. I thought this was funny and I'm putting it word for word, bar for bar. Last chapter. Nate, Whisper, and Angel go home and most of them fall asleep except Angel. He talks out loud about how he misses her family, and Whisper comes in and talks about how he misses his family. Don't ask who his family is, we don't talk about them. And then they kiss, and it ends. Wow, actually somewhat satisfying ending. I'm impressed. Author's note: they're pretty sure nobody cares about this fanfic, which, wrong, I do, and now I'm putting it in a YouTube video. Blah. I do feel kind of bad for dinging this up. If you ever see this sticker fest, I'm sorry, but it was either this or Shibanya gets coronavirus. And that's all of them. I'd like to state again that I love these fanfics. It was a lot of fun to read these, and I'm sure they were fun to make at the time. I'm so glad these were made and put out into the world and shared. Even if they aren't the best thing ever, these fanfics show by people like creating things, whether it be to make a fun story, or to make people laugh, or just have something to look back on when they're older. But if you ever consider uploading your fanfic to the internet, for the love of God, please finish your
Squirrels.
fanfic.